All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 135 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here this Monday morning, or if you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think this content that we are talking about today could be relevant for anyone in your network or your circle, please hit the share button and share the love with others. Now, as you guys know, we are in our back to school and transition interview series. And I am so excited this morning to have one of my favorite organizations where I gather so much knowledge for food allergies and whatnot here with us this morning. I have Kathy Przywara. She is the Senior Community Director for the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. Welcome, Kathy.
Hi, Tammy. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I am so excited that today we are going to be talking about how to foster a food allergy aware classroom, because I think that not only is it so relevant to this time of year, but it is so needed for awareness and really building a stronger food allergy aware communities within our schools and restaurants and everywhere else that we go.
Absolutely.
And so I know that we were going to kind of start out this morning with really kind of giving the audience a little bit more knowledge of why it is important to have that awareness within the classroom for food allergies.
Yeah, so there's nearly 6 million kids in the US that have a food allergy. So that means 1 in 13 kids has a food allergy. So if you think about a typical classroom, that means that there's about 2 kids in each classroom with a food allergy. That's a lot of kids.
It is.
And then the research shows that when there is a reaction at school, so a severe allergic reaction is called anaphylaxis. You may have heard that term a lot. About 45% of the time, those reactions, the symptoms begin in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And there's 8 top allergens, plus sesame, which is becoming more and more prevalent, but really any food can be an allergen. So a lot of times when we think of food allergies, you hear about peanuts or nuts, but you know, it's much more likely that little kids are allergic to milk or egg. So, you know, that comes into play in like the preschool years and stuff too. So, you know, when we think about all these statistics, how can we make a classroom safer? Well, we think it's through food allergy awareness.
Right.
So teal is the color of food allergy awareness, and we want there to be teal classrooms. And a teal classroom means that you have a classroom that encourages being safer and more inclusive for everybody with food allergies. So that's students and staff. Because in addition to those 6 million kids, there's 26 million adults in the US with food allergies too. So there can be staff and teachers and others around the school, adults that have food allergies too.
Yes, and food allergies also can be outgrown as well. So it can be ever changing, correct, for adults and for children.
Correct. And you can also develop a food allergy at any age. Like my daughter developed an allergy to pistachios when she was in 5th grade. So it opened up just a whole nother realm for us, because we had everything all, you know, working, and all of a sudden everything was just turned around.
Right, right.
So when we talk about a teal classroom, what does that mean? So we think a teal classroom should pledge to use non-food rewards, have food-free celebrations, and remove food from things like lesson plans. So, you know, counting or graphing with M&Ms, or making snack mix on the 100th day of school. These kind of things. This is food that doesn't need to be in the classroom. And then teal classrooms also teach about food allergies and raise awareness about how to keep kids safer. So things like washing hands, not sharing food, that sort of thing. And what removing this unnecessary food from the classroom can do is first of all, it can reduce the kids' stress from being around their allergens. So if a child is in the classroom and they're always worried about, their allergens being around them, and if they're going to have a reaction, then they're not focused on learning. They're distracted from what they're supposed to be doing in school, which is learning. The food-free celebrations and food-free rewards just help all kids feel more included. So the kids with food allergies aren't feeling left out because everyone is doing the same thing. They're just, a normal kid. And then it also helps reduce food allergy bullying.
Right. And, sometimes people don't even think of that. Obviously, again, like we were talking about so much when we talk about food allergies, the first thing people think about is nuts. When we talk about bullying, the first thing that comes to mind is not kids are getting bullied, for food allergies,
Right.
But it's really anything that makes you different,
It is. And, and in that vein, kids will always find something to bully other kids about. It's just kind of a little bit of human nature. But what the research shows is that 1 in 3 kids with a food allergy reports that they've been bullied because of their food allergies. And this can range from other kids making fun of what's in their lunchbox to actual threats of harm using their allergen. Like, they're going to smear peanut butter or, spill milk on them. And this can be really dangerous because, food allergy reactions can be life-threatening.
Right.
So, we can use awareness to promote inclusion and understanding. And the more people know about food allergies, this can help other kids understand that, teasing or bullying classmates with food allergies, with food allergens, can have serious consequences for everybody involved. And in general, kids are really good about protecting each other and their friends. Kids with food allergies on our online community, we hear stories all the time about how, one child's friend will ask their mom to pack safe lunches so that they can sit next to their friend during lunchtime or during snack. And it's just really heartwarming to know that kids will protect each other. Right. And so, kind of growing that circle of friendship and protection around kids is just so important.
And I think that kids taking this and learning it in the schools, and it really becoming a part of their everyday active life, they will take those things home because, as a lot of us have found, when we introduce our families who are used to doing traditional meals and, how prepare for festivities, when you're the first kid in a family to be the one with a food allergy, and you have to compromise cookies or, the type of, meats or the way that you process the food or whatever, sometimes that can be difficult for families as well. So kids learning this at school and bringing that home, they can also share that knowledge with their families.
Absolutely. It's just another way to foster more food allergy awareness.
Definitely. And how do we get parents and encourage them to kind of be involved in this, whole process?
And that's a great question. So the first thing would be to partner with your school. So find whoever you're most comfortable to approach, be it the school nurse or the principal, or even start with your child's teacher, and then go in with proposed solutions for change. But you have to be flexible and keep your goal in mind. And your goal is really keeping your child and other kids with food allergies safe. And, change is hard, so you have to be willing to make small progress where you can. So when my daughter was in kindergarten, I became that mom. I became like the food allergy mom. And, my daughter just graduated from college, so back when she started kindergarten, food allergies weren't really a thing yet, and I had to kind of blaze my own trail. And one of the things I learned later is that one of the teachers that both my kids had would warn the teachers at the next grade level about having my kids in their class. And that, my kids came with a binder and all these directions for what changes I wanted in the classroom. But really, it was this particular teacher that wanted things a certain way, and I was kind of rocking her boat with asking for changes. And it really turned out that most of the teachers loved having my kids in the class because I was always willing to go above and beyond. And, instead of, an ice cream sundae party, we would do crafts and I would bring all the supplies, and the kids just really loved that stuff too. So, you may encounter resistance, but just, you got to keep kind of working it. So one good resource is Kids with Food Allergies has what we call a Teal Classroom Kit. And this is available to download, or you can get a printed copy on our website, which is kidswithfoodallergies.org/Teal Classroom. And the Teal Classroom Kit is great because it has information for teachers, a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about why it's important to have food allergy awareness in the classroom. It has some simple lesson plans that teachers can start with to start raising awareness and start raising understanding. It has a printable for stickers that can be used for rewards. It has posters for the classroom and all kinds of other resources. And since we've introduced this a couple years ago, school nurses and teachers have just absolutely loved this this little guide.
Yeah, and
so
it's awesome that you can just go on and print it off too. I mean,
yeah,
starting for some this week and whatnot, you can just hop on today.
Absolutely.
And right?
Yep.
Definitely.
So what we found is it's really important to get others on board for the for the non-food rewards, because that's probably one of the biggest challenges. Although a lot of schools these days have gone to the they've introduced wellness policies to reduce the amount of food in the classroom. So so those schools, you may not have as much of a hurdle. But a lot of times you hear, well, we've always done it this way, or the kids expect treats. But, they're adaptable, they're kids. And, what we found is that you can create a fun, safe, and inclusive environment for all kids with special diets. And this doesn't only help the kids with food allergies. It also helps kids with diabetes or religious or ethical diet restrictions too.
Right. And I always like to remind parents that they are their child's best advocate. And so within this process, when the school, maybe hasn't integrated some of these systems into there, you bring it to them, just like Kathy is saying, being aware. My son has anaphylactic allergy, food allergies. And so all of his school years, I, started out the school year with a container completely labeled. Anytime there was a party, a snack, they had the ones for him. Any events that came up, I brought the food for the classroom. But another craft idea, that's a great idea as well, to bring in, that's safe for everyone to do. So I think that it does take that encouragement, on our part as parents, and reminding them that this is life-threatening and it's really, really, really important, and needs to be taken at that.
Yeah, I mean, both my kids had food allergies when they were younger, and we always had the dish of snacks and stuff. But sometimes I would go in and I would see that they were kind of sad sitting there with their little packaged snack when there's all these fancy decorated cupcakes and stuff that are being handed out. So, that does kind of take a toll on kids emotionally.
Right.
So, one way to further these changes is to go in and start talking to other groups. So, now that you've talked to the nurse or the principal or the teacher, try and get other groups from the school on board. So, maybe it's talking to the PTA or your school's parents group. You can join a committee. I was part of a disaster preparedness committee when my kids were in elementary school, and I happened to uncover a huge gap in how the meds were being handled. So they had all the epinephrine and the inhalers and emergency medicines in the nurse's office, and they weren't being taken outside during a disaster. And so, we uncovered something that and we're able to make a policy change at the school so that those locked up medicines were actually more portable and would be taken out, and they would be kept out of the sun and things like that. So it's not only just the food, it's also how procedures around field trips and stuff like that as well.
Right.
That can be maybe not necessarily as safe as they should be.
Right.
Another option would be to offer to do an in-service for the teachers and staff. And Kids with Food Allergies has all sorts of resources and handouts in the school zone, which is at kidswithfoodallergies.org/school. So there's handouts that are what's the big deal about food allergies, or one that explains the different types of food allergies. So.
And Kathy, when I found your foundation years back, I just thought, where is there that you can go on and print off the material, the stuff to take with you? I mean, even today, if you guys have been watching kind of their Facebook series or Instagram, they're breaking down for you as you're walking into those IEPs and as you're walking into those meetings with your school, step 1, step 2, step 3, all the reminders that as parents, sometimes we get overwhelmed, especially if we're in a meeting with all these people, of questions we forget to ask, things we want to make sure are on that emergency health list are all there, and I just think it's so comprehensive and so great. I really do.
Right. One of my favorite resources is the 10 school planning tips. And that breaks down, make your appointment to get your medication forms filled out, talk to the school nurse, talk to the food services, and all the other tips for just setting up to have a great school year.
Yes, a successful school year. So all of those things are available, to you. So as the school year starts and we get a little overwhelmed with things, know that they're available, and maybe incorporating that teal classroom concept and printing that off and bringing that to your teacher. Any little step is a step in the right direction as we build awareness.
Absolutely.
So with that, Kathy, I thank you so much for sharing all this information. Like we spoke about, there is so many other resources right on your site. So though we talked a little bit more about how do we get more awareness just in the classroom, some people are looking at, I'm stepping into some of my, meetings with the schools for my kiddos. I need to know step by step. And like Kathy was saying, there is definitely things on the site that outline that and that are downloadable and printable for you. And
absolutely.
Next. So I know that you guys always have stuff, that people can kind of tune into, blogs, people can read, recipes, tons of recipes, that, people can also download as well. Is there any events or webinars or things like that coming up that parents can tune into?
Yeah, we do. So next week on August 21st, we have a Facebook Live event. And it's about research into the burden of living with food allergies. So earlier this year, AAFA conducted the My Life with Food Allergies survey, and we will be sharing some of the findings. So this research looked at how food allergies impact the social, emotional, and financial well-being of families. And the results were just overwhelming on how much food allergies impact families' lives. So, and this includes, sending your kid with food allergies to school too. So we will have some of those tidbits in there too. So you can learn more about that. You can RSVP on KFA's Facebook event, and we're at Kids with Food Allergies.
Okay, and if people register for that, and let's say something happens and they're not able to tune in exactly when that Facebook Live is happening, did they get a link that's emailed to them to rewatch it, or is it eventually reposted again for them to be able to check it out?
Yeah, so the Facebook Live will be available after the event. But the best way to keep in contact with Kids with Food Allergies is to join our online support community at kidswithfoodallergies.org/join. And so after the event, we will have the video plus other resources on our blog. And so joining will, get you the blog and resources if your kid is newly diagnosed with food allergies, or if you're going through a transition, like moving from elementary school to middle school, because just when you think you have all this down, everything changes. Like I said, my daughter developed a new food allergy that we had to figure out when she was in 4th grade.
Right.
And that joining will also connect you with opportunities to get involved in research and advocacy, and obviously all of our resources as well. And again, that's kidswithfoodallergies.org/join.
And then after this live, can we drop all of those, like when the next set?
Absolutely.
Right below in the comments, what the link is for them to get on to make sure they're getting all the information. And I'm excited to watch that next one coming up on the 21st, because as my son has transitioned out of high school, in school altogether, when you're looking for job opportunities, some people don't realize that if you have very severe allergies, how does that impact the jobs that you get? Think about all the jobs that you have that are impacted by food or people's food, people's garbage, all of that cross-contamination. So it is a huge thing and very lifelong for many. So excited to tune into that. So Kathy, super excited that you guys are on this morning, and a little sneak peek. They are going to be on later on this month as well, talking about the asthma end of things in our schools too. So very grateful for that. But if we can just drop all those things below, I'll also drop them in the top of this live too, for all of you, so it's easy and accessible. So with that, thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you so much, Tammy.
Wonderful. Well, all of you guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, if there's anybody in your network or your circle that you think this pertains to, make sure that you hit the share button and share this with them today. If you would like to become a part of our private community, head up to the top of this Facebook page, hit the blue button, and that will let you into our private group. Thanks, guys, so much. Happy Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.